Have you ever heard that fish only grow as large as their tank? Or that they forget everything in 3 seconds? Yeah, these ideas seem harmless, but they're myths that, in practice, can shorten your fish's lifespan and destroy the aquarium's balance. The truth is, many well-intentioned people end up making serious mistakes by believing this misinformation. And worst of all, they don't even realize what they're doing wrong. The fish die, the water becomes problematic, the filter seems useless, and everything turns into frustration. But what if the problem isn't the tank, but what you've been told about it? In this video, we'll get straight to the point, debunking the 10 most common fish-keeping myths. You'll understand why these ideas are wrong, what really makes a difference, and how to avoid the mistakes that most often kill fish without anyone noticing. 1. Fish grow to the size of their tank. This is one of the most popular myths, and also the most harmful. The idea that fish stop growing if they're in a small space is false. What actually happens is that the confined environment impedes healthy growth, causing deformities, stress, and even premature death. Fish like goldfish and Oscars continue to grow internally even in small aquariums. This results in a stunted body and compressed organs, leading to serious health problems. Furthermore, small aquariums accumulate toxins more quickly, making the situation even worse. Many only notice the damage when the fish is already weakened. But it's not just about growing or not, but also about quality of life. Each species has specific space requirements. Respecting this is essential to keeping fish active, healthy, and displaying natural behavior. The size of the aquarium should be designed to allow for full development, physical and behavioral.
2. Fish have a 3-second memory. This idea is widespread, but completely wrong. Fish not only have memories, but are also capable of learning, recognizing patterns, and even interacting with their environment consciously. Some species, like the goldfish, can remember feeding routines, identify objects, and even perform simple tricks, such as jumping through hoops to get food. Scientific studies have proven that they have short and long-term memories, as well as good associative abilities. This 3-second lie is often used to justify poor aquariums, lacking hiding places, stimuli, or adequate space, as if the fish wouldn't even notice. But they do notice, and they suffer when they're in inadequate environments. Fish react to stress, recognize changes, and demonstrate complex social behaviors. Underestimating their intelligence is not only unfair, it's dangerous. A well-cared-for fish lives longer, interacts better, and displays much more than just swimming back and forth. 3. Aquariums are a lot of work. Many people don't even start keeping aquariums because they think they'll be too much work. But this idea usually stems from poorly planned experiences, poorly set up aquariums, incompatible species, and the wrong equipment. The truth is, when the system is well thought out from the start, with an efficient filter, suitable substrate, and compatible fish, the care routine is simple. Feed the fish, perform a partial water change weekly, and monitor parameters with basic tests. That's it. Over time, this care routine becomes part of your daily routine. And with technologies like automatic feeders and light timers, the aquarium practically takes care of itself. In many cases, you'll spend less time with it than walking a dog. An aquarium isn't synonymous with work. It's a living system that, when well designed, balances itself and rewards you with beauty, tranquility, and a relaxed routine. The initial effort is worth every minute.
4. You have to wait weeks to add fish. This myth stems from a misinterpreted truth. In fact, you do need to wait for the nitrogen cycle, but what matters isn't the time itself. It's the moment when the system stabilizes biologically. This process transforms ammonia, which is toxic, into nitrite and then into nitrate, which is less harmful. The cycle can take 2 to 6 weeks, depending on the aquarium's conditions. However, it's best not to rely on the calendar, but rather on water tests. This is the only way to know when ammonia and nitrite levels have reached 0, signaling that the aquarium is ready for fish. Additionally, adding fish before this time can cause toxicity and rapid death. On the other hand,
With the use of biological accelerants and careful attention to parameters, the process can be faster and safer. More important than waiting a month is understanding what's happening in the water. This saves lives. 5. Fish die easily. This idea drives many people away from aquarium keeping and serves as an excuse for those who don't want to take responsibility for basic care. Fish aren't inherently fragile. What really kills them are common and avoidable mistakes: untreated water, overfeeding, incompatible species, and poorly set up aquariums. Species like bettas, polystynias, and cortidoras are extremely resilient when kept in good conditions. A healthy goldfish, for example, can live for over 10 years. The problem is that fish show subtle signs of illness. Often when they die, they've been suffering for days or weeks without anyone noticing. Another common mistake is simply replacing dead fish without investigating the cause. This perpetuates the same problems and causes a continuous cycle of loss. Fish aren't disposable. When their environment is well cared for, they live long and well. The problem is rarely the fish, usually the way they're being kept.
6. A pump and an aerator are the same thing. It's common to confuse a pump with an aerator, but these devices have different functions. A circulation pump moves the water, which is essential for the filter to function and prevent stagnant water. An aerator, usually an air pump attached to a porous stone, increases gas exchange at the surface, helping to oxygenate the water. This confusion arises because moving the water also helps oxygenate it. In many cases, good circulation is sufficient to maintain optimal oxygen levels, eliminating the need for air pumps. However, this depends on the size of the aquarium, the number of fish, and the filter's performance. In overcrowded aquariums or those with little surface movement, a lack of oxygen can cause suffocation, especially at night when plants also consume oxygen. Knowing the function of each piece of equipment prevents mistakes, saves money, and most importantly, ensures that the fish breathe well. 7. Fish can live in an aquarium without a filter. It's true that some fish can survive without a filter, but living well is another story. This myth is one of the most common causes of silent deaths in aquariums. Filters serve not only to visually clean the water, but to maintain the entire system's biological balance. Without filtration, ammonia released by fish waste builds up quickly, poisoning the environment. Even with frequent water changes, it's difficult to maintain stability without a filter working constantly. There are 3 types of filtration: mechanical, which retains visible dirt; chemical, which eliminates unwanted substances; and biological, the most important, where bacteria that neutralize toxins live. Fish like bettas can tolerate the absence of a filter for a while, but this requires daily care and extra attention. Even so, their quality of life will be limited. If you want a healthy and long-lasting aquarium, a filter isn't an accessory, it's a fundamental part of the system. 8. Crystal clear water is a sign of a healthy aquarium. Clear water doesn't guarantee a healthy aquarium. Everything may seem fine, but appearances can be deceiving. Substances like ammonia and nitrite are invisible and extremely toxic. In other words, water can be crystal clear and at the same time lethal to fish. Many clarifying products merely collect particles to facilitate filtration without actually improving water quality. It's like cleaning only what's visible and ignoring what really matters. A healthy aquarium is measured by water parameters such as pH, ammonia, nitrite, nitrate, and temperature, as well as fish behavior and the stability of the environment over time. Water clarity can be a good sign, but it should never be the only criterion. The real risk lies in the invisible. Therefore, performing regular testing is essential to ensure the health of your aquarium, much more than relying solely on what meets the eye. 9. The more fish, the more beautiful the aquarium.
Putting too many fish in an aquarium may seem attractive at first glance, but it's a common mistake that compromises the health of the system. Overcrowding generates excess waste, consumes more oxygen, and increases stress among the animals, all of which results in disease, fighting, and preventable deaths. Each fish needs space to swim, hide, and establish territory. Species like goldfish and Oscars, for example, require a large area, even when alone. Placing too many in a small space is cruel and unsustainable. Furthermore, an overcrowded aquarium hinders filtration and impairs water quality. What should be a relaxing environment becomes a place of constant stress. Less is more. An aquarium with a few well-maintained fish, stable water, and thoughtful decor is much more beautiful and balanced. Always research the adult size and behavior of the species before deciding how many fish to add. 10. Changing the entire water is better for the fish. Many people think that changing all the aquarium water is a form of complete cleaning. But this practice can do more harm than good and even kill the fish. By removing 100% of the water, you also eliminate the beneficial bacteria responsible for biological balance, which can cause a breakdown in parameters and severely stress the fish. The aquarium functions as an ecosystem. When well cared for, it self-regulates. Therefore, the ideal is to perform partial, weekly water changes of 20 to 30% of the water. This helps remove toxins, maintaining balance without harming the bacterial flora. Another important point, the new water should be dechlorinated with a temperature and pH similar to that of the aquarium. If the parameters are good and the fish are healthy, there is no reason for drastic changes. Changing everything at once is like resetting a stable system, and the fish suffer the consequences. Most aquarium problems stem from misinformation repeated over the years, and now you know how to separate myths from reality. Understanding what really matters in fish care is the first step to building a beautiful, healthy, and long-lasting aquarium. Avoiding these mistakes doesn't require expensive equipment or advanced knowledge. All it takes is reliable information, attention to detail, and respect for the animal's well-being. And now tell me, which of these myths did you believe until now? Have you ever fallen for any of them? Leave a comment, and if you want more practical tips about aquariums and fish, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.